Hello and welcome back. As we've just seen there, the chassis of the Dock Shunter running on the rolling road, a relatively smooth model. Now this one's from the sort of mid-late 70s. If you have a look at the buffers on there, it's got fully plastic buffers, and the shank is just moulded into the bodywork, whereas earlier ones I think had the turned metal buffers that Triang Railways had used right back in the early days. I think the Dock Shunter showed up fairly early on in 1957. Let's just have a quick look over here. We're going to run with some of these wagons. These are flat wagons with wheel loads, and I've got a couple of flat wagons with the boat load. So some of the models have boxes. So the flat wagon with the wheel load was R.131. I think it was R.254 when it became silver seal. I'm not sure about whether the boat load got an alternate number, whether it lasted that long. I think these all came along 74 and perhaps vanished. It didn't spend that long in the catalogue, I don't think. I can't remember exactly how long. I'll look that up and put that in the corner of the screen. So here is the box for the Dock Shunter, 040 diesel Dock Shunter. Nice price of £20 on there. I think that's what I paid for it. It came from the model railway shop quite some time ago, and it's been closed a good many years now. So it's one of those nice sort of mid-late 70s Hornby Railways box with the screws either side of the name there. I think that's quite smart. We do have some instructions. I'm not going to open these out one-handed. I don't think I can make that work. It's too much of a fold in it. So there we've got the model number, R.253. I think that's the model number she carried right the way through from the 50s right through till 77, I think, was when the model finally disappeared. And this one you can see is dated, what have we got? I always read these wrong. I think that's 06/10/76. I think we've got a date of there. So it's a 1976 model. Again, one of those lovely sort of outline images on the front there on the black face card. It's just white polystyrene on the inside, so we'll not bother opening that up to have a look. But let's just have a look what we're going to try and do with the model today. We're going to take her out of the diesel refueling area here, and we'll run her through some point work, and we'll go to the long sidings here. We've got Lord Westwood from last week having a rest in the sidings with the GWR coaches, and we'll pick up these wagons with the wheel load. They are rather bright, aren't they? I think they're a very similar colour to my bridge on the layout. We'll perhaps have a look at those together. So I've got a mixture there. Some of these have the boxes, as we've just seen. I think 3 have boxes, 3 don't. And I can't reach over and show you which ones have silver seal, so I think there are a couple of silver seal wheel ones there, and they were unboxed. So we'll also collect these ones with the boat load, which I think are quite cute. We've got 2 different variations of the boat there. Just looks like a colour reversal to me. As I say, one of those has its box and one doesn't. And I think we should probably pick up a brake van for good measure. I think perhaps just before we get the models on the move, we'll just have a quick look at the 74 catalogue, the first year that the wagons showed up in here. So I think it's well worth a look. Let's just move that box out of the way. Got that great layout there. Father and son having a play with it. Great green bays down the front by the look of it. Great bright red buildings there. So we'll just leaf through this relatively quickly rather than getting too bogged down with it. Some nice clockwork sets. That early 70s logo there, it's quite wonderful, isn't it? And there we've got this group of sets here, and you can see the wagon. It's the same one as we got on the railway, but in green. So it showed up in green in 74. I'm not sure whether these were actually produced in green. The only ones I've come across are in red. So it'd be interesting to know if anybody's come across a green one, both with the wheel load and the boat load. And that's a different colour of boat there. But interestingly there, in this set, we've got a nice sort of bright reddy orange one like the ones on the layout, but we've got these containers. Now I think that was R182, and it was only made for this set. Those containers are the same as an earlier wagon which was used in the 60s, but they had grey containers on a pair of containers, number of which I forget. I'll put it in the corner of the screen. They were just used on there, so it'd be really nice to find one of those one day. And there we see in the set there, ready to run, and we've got the old battery controller there. Lovely looking Kellogg's wagon. I think the wagon may have shared the same chassis as these sort of girder, these flat girder wagons that we're looking at today. But quite interesting. Might as well just have a quick flick through some of these pages. We had the blue Pullman on the railway just a short time ago. That's GWR tank. Princess, we've got to get a Princess out. Now I've got the replacement smoke sound, or the exhaust steam sound, sorry, is what we're after the name of. And a mail set. We must get the mail out. So getting sidetracked as ever. We'll just have a look at these operating accessories. We had that pipe unloading equipment out on the railway recently. And that's a stunning looking colour, isn't it? I haven't come across one in yellow like that. And then if we have a look at this picture here, I can't remember who it was who pointed out to me, there's a great piece of photography here, that the coal was actually stuck to some sellotape here to simulate it falling from the wagon above. I had never spotted that till the person pointed that out to me. It was very kind of them. Sorry, I really can't remember who that is at the moment, but a nice little fact, a nice little thing to spy in the catalogue. We've got track packs, very lovely pictures. Some lovely layout plans there, and there's that turntable which we've just taken away from my current layout. Track plans. I've got plenty of these lever frame switches. I've never come across one of these battery controllers in yellow. That's lovely and bright, isn't it, with a great red switch right in the centre of it there. Quite a striking item. So there are controllers there. You see, I think we mentioned you could put the track plan or layout plan in there, but I have not really worked out how to make that work effectively on mine so far, so we'll just leave that idea alone for a while, I think. So I know we've probably looked through this quite recently, so we won't spend terribly long, but I know a number of people do quite enjoy seeing these catalogues. And there is the Dock Shunter with a flat girder wagon here with a boat load. I don't think it was called a flat girder wagon. I think it was just called. Let's have a look at the end of the box again. It is just flat wagon with wheel load, isn't it, rather than flat girder wagon. But it's definitely got girders down the side. Lovely cutaway picture there. Fantastic page of colourful models, isn't it? A streamlined locomotive there it's got the chromed or nickeled wheels on it. Beautiful looking item. Great set of coaches. I love this running right the way across the bottom of the page here. Sorry about that, bit of a shine coming off the paper from the window there. Quite shiny paper, this catalogue. Perhaps the wrong position for it today with the angle of the light. And there we have the wagons. We've got the one with the boat load, so new in 74, R.133, showing a sort of orangey red boat again. And now we've got the one with the wheel load. It says detachable wheels, so the wheels do come out. Another fine set of wagons. Really quite like the bird's eye wagon. That's quite a lovely one, that. Stations. 6 different setups there. And the permutations are endless with that. That's quite a lovely image, isn't it? Look at the workmen on the rails here. And the people standing on the platform. Quite a lovely image. Now that clock tower appears grey in there, doesn't it? My clock tower is almost sort of a buff colour rather than grey, not like the platform grey that it sits on. That one's almost sort of quite close to the platform perhaps. Certainly close to the roofs of the coaches. Great models, I'll say that again, scale model construction kits. So goods depot with a crane and the lifting bridge. Very similar to, there's a Hornby 00 model, a little bit like that, wasn't there? Quite a nice item, I don't have one of those. And the bridges, signals, signal box, engine sheds with the green ventilators on the top. I'm still to track one of those down. Automatic control systems, we've got automatic signal, automatic relay train control set, and we've got a set of pickups here. Automatic point control, so you can make the points open and close. Track geometry. Advert for the railway modeller in the back there, and a market research questionnaire. So if you take that out the back of there, you're losing that. I wonder whether you had to mail that off. Yeah, it seems a shame to cut that out and lose part of your catalogue, doesn't it? But these are probably thought of as like throwaway items. We'll just open up the points there so we can get out of the diesel refuelling area. And isn't she quiet? It's the lack of those knurled wheels. It makes a really odd sound when you're used to hearing these making a racket. And she does run so lovely and smoothly. Let's watch this over the point work. And we'll switch a few more points. And then we'll back her up onto the outside line. There she goes, absolutely effortlessly through there. And we'll bring her to a stop just near the bridge. There we go, so we'll close a few points behind us, and then we'll open up 8R and roll up into the long sidings. Well, towards them we've got to open up 1R as well. Sorry, 1Y. And 1W, so we don't run into the Lord Westwood sitting there. Well, they'll all run out the other end of the sidings if we have power on them all. Let's see if we can have a gentle coupling here. There we go. Switch direction and we'll roll forward beyond the points. And then we'll switch those. And we'll sort of back through those and see how well behaved they are. And we'll see if we can collect the rest of the wagons. So we've got the rest of the wheel load. And we've got the boat wagons. And then forward we go. So they're not that heavy, these wagons. They're largely plastic. They've got a small metal weight in them, I think. So they don't represent much of a challenge, I don't think, really. And then back through the curved point. The wagons look quite well behaved so far. So I think a couple of those do have the silver seal wheels, as we were mentioning. There they go, smoothly through. And then we'll bring that to a stop, close up the points behind us. A little more power. That motor just purrs away. Let's see if we can get a nice view of the whole train now. They really are bright wagons, aren't they? Really are. Of their time, the very early 70s. So I quite like those ones, the boatload. It'd be nice to see if there's get a hold of one with a sort of a reddy or orange boat on it. Or maybe that's not such a nice contrast with the wagons. Would have looked better, perhaps, with a green wagon. So just watch what she does as she goes across the diamond crossing. She doesn't like that, does she? We had the model just out of view that time. We'll see if we can catch her next time around, but the drive wheels on each side are all on plastic, one after the other, so it causes like a double fault, really. And you think she goes so smoothly over the point work, but I think when you take the power away from both wheels at the same time, both pickups at the same time, you're going to get a stutter. Quite a nice shot there across the top of all those lever switches. Gently past the station. And again, running at this speed, we're not really going to get that lamp to glow. So you really need to wind that up a bit. Perhaps we'll see if we can get the odd glimpse of it. It does glow. It's a fairly gentle glow on it, perhaps better in the dark. It's relatively bright in the room at the moment. Now let's keep an eye on this as it comes over the diamond crossing. Yeah, so you got that double stutter as each side gets a piece of plastic at a time. So all the wheels are on plastic at one side, and then the other side shortly after each other. So a tiny bit extra power now, and let's see how she does with a little more power going across the diamond crossing. I'm thinking that'll probably smooth it out a little, but I don't want to run very much quicker than this with all these wagons. Yeah, that does smooth it out a little, doesn't it? In here the whine of the motor's changed considerably now. We've got a little bit more power on board. Storming past the station. So I think if she had the ribbed wheels, it'd be really quite a racket. Really, it really does make a difference. So it does, as I was saying earlier, sounds quite odd. I got a diesel rail car with the smooth wheels there. That was quite smooth on there that time, wasn't it? But she's warmed up a little bit now as well. A diesel rail car with smooth wheels, and that sounds odd too. And a single-ended diesel. You see them move, and you expect them to make that little bit more noise than they're making. So we'll have a gentle stop here, and then we'll open up some points, and we'll take her up onto the elevated section. So this is quite a few points and quite a few wheels and quite a few curves there. Sorry, curves there, not speaking as clearly as I could there. As I say, it's not that heavy, this train, so I don't think it really presents very much of a challenge for this model. And that is absolutely effortless. And then I think we'll just bring her gently to a stop in a moment. So we'll just have a quick look at these wagons and the locomotive. Now I've probably stopped this in the wrong place. I thought this might be a nice place to unhook them and have a look, but I'm not sure whether my uncoupling or decoupler is going to work with the side walls here. No, I'm not going to be able to get that in there, sadly, but we can have a look at the locomotive, and then I'll just move the wagons by hand. So we are just filming handheld here, and we'll just have a quick look at the model. We'll just pop it down here. See, she's in fairly nice condition, and this motor buggy really does go right back to the 50s, and the single-ended diesel and the switches and so on. Looks like quite nice thick paint on the front there, doesn't it? And the plastic buffers. We do get a very faint glow from that lamp. We saw it on the rolling road. Let's have a swift look at the underneath there as well. See, she does benefit from the the very smooth wheels rather than the earlier rib type, which give you that very distinctive sound. It's got the plastic drive gears, and we seem to have crosshead screws throughout the bottom of the locomotive there. So one of the couplings is fixed to the body, and then one is fixed to the metal chassis there. So she's in fairly tidy condition. You can see a little bit of the wiring through the cab windows there, which are completely unglazed, and we've got a separately fitted horn there, and a very large securing screw in the centre of the cab, the bonnet, sorry. Let's see if we can encourage that back on without too many more fingerprints. So let's put that on there. And let's see if we can get one of these wagons out. So let's give that a little bit of power and move her forward a little. So it just sounds wrong to me sometimes, a Dock Shunter that doesn't have that sort of growling noise about it with the rough wheels on the track. There we go. Let's just grab one of these off and have a look. It is a very similar colour, isn't it, as we've seen there. Perhaps not quite the same. Maybe this has been on a layout and faded a little. Well, my bridge is beginning to fade a little. So I think this chassis was used on a number of wagons. They'd have been quite nice in green. I'm sure they must exist in green, I think. Be interesting to find out. Let's see if we can just have a look at one with silver seal wheels. Let's see if we can find one. Let's roll that one up there and see what we've got. Ooh, I'm causing a derailment there. That is one with silver seal wheels there that I'm happily pushing off the track. Let's see if I can roll that a little bit further forward, and we'll uncouple a little. There we go. I think we should be able to have a glance at this one now. There we have it. Let's see if I can just squeeze that in there. I think I'm going to cause a major derailment there. So there we go. We've got some silver seal wheels. They're quite dull, and they appear to be spoked as well, don't they? But apart from that, I think the chassis is the same. So that just accounts for the change in the model number. So let's pop that one back on, and we'll have a look at the one with the boatload. Let's see if we can. Sorry, I'm pointing down at the ground, trying to do too many things at once there. So let's roll that lot forward, and let's see if we can get one with a boat a little bit closer. There we have it. Now, I'm not going to lift off the ones with the boats because it's exactly the same wagon. Let's just have a look at those boats. I think the boats are quite freely. They come off freely, sorry, so they just poke into that little hole there, so it's not a very secure thing. So quite cute little things. I don't know whether this is made by trying for a different series of models and it was just used on here, or whether it was made specifically for this model. I'm not quite sure whether it appeared elsewhere in a range of toys. Now I can't get that back in there. Just have a look there. You can see those securing pins. So the ones with the containers would have just pegged onto here, I think. Let's see if we can do a slightly better job of re-railing this. There we go. I'll pop the boat on there. Sorry, out of frame again. And the other boat there. We're going to get this one off. There we go, just in white plastic. A little bit of marking and stuff on there. I'm not sure whether this would float. So I don't think that's a hole all the way through the hull. And look inside there, so it may well have that extra bit of play value, and it might well float. So I haven't tried it. Let's see if we can get that back on there. There we go. I know we've got the long-running brake van. Had a number of model numbers over the years. We'll just hook that lot back up, and we'll see if we can run it back down onto level ground. So a little bit more power, I wonder whether she's going to run away dramatically. Very controlled, actually. Back onto level ground. There we go. Now I think I'm just going to close the tail end of the elevated section there. There we go, and then we'll bring her back around. We'll get her onto the inside line for a moment, so we'll go for some more power. I'm tripping over the extension cord there. Let's see how she does on the diamond now she's cooled down for a moment. She definitely was stuttering quite badly at first, and then it sort of smooths out for a bit. But just the pickups on the two wheels there. Yeah, a nice stutter again. We'll follow that around. Sorry, I'm wobbling the camera here. So I'm also going to change some more points here. So we're going to close 3G, and then we should be able to roll happily onto the inside line. And then we'll just switch a few points so we can keep her on the inside line for now, I think. Yeah, we'll just have a quick run round the inside line to finish off with, I think. So let's give her a little power and get her underway. See if we can get some interesting views of her. There's a very faint glow if you look through that little metal ringed hole on the front of the locomotive there. We'll see if we can catch that when we come around the other side. Let's see if we can look right in the front there. Just catch the odd glimpse of it. She is just such a lovely smooth runner, apart from over that diamond crossing. And see if we can see the lamp in there again. It is very faint. As we saw on the rolling road earlier, it is just a little glow from the lamp. So one more time around, and I think that's probably it, and we'll probably just finish with having a look at a couple of the other variants of this model over the years, including the TC version, the yard switcher. So I'm fully into the shadows there. Creaky floorboards again. And back under the bridge. So a very long running model, I think. Lots of fun had by many with these, I would imagine. Not quite so sure about the wagons. They're quite fun items, but I don't think they lasted terribly long in the catalogue. So I thought we'd just end with a swift look at a couple of the other Dock Shunters I have. There's a very early one from the 50s with Mark II couplings, so that is probably pre-1958. and that slightly earlier design, you see the open part behind the rear steps there, and that's carrying the number 5. I think sometime in the early 60s they changed the number to 3 on the side of the cab. I'm not quite sure why. And there's a sort of mid-60s one in red, in lovely condition. And you can see the buffers there. They haven't changed the design. They haven't moulded the plastic to represent the shank of the buffer. It's all just still a turned piece of metal, I think. But this late 70s one, 76 one, not that late 70s, that we've just been looking at there, it's definitely got a slightly different design on the bodywork, hasn't it? The plastic moulding's been changed. It's definitely got the plastic buffer heads in there. But apart from that, I think the model is the same as the earlier ones, bar the early 50s one with the gap behind the rear steps. And then we have the yard switchers. In red and yellow. I think there are some different variants. If you look at the side, the wording on the side, some had Triang Railways and some had a TR number on the side there, as you see, TR 20071. Sorry, we're just losing focus there. So I think these were catalogue number R.253. I'm just glancing at my notes and struggling to see what I've written down here. 353. And I think that represented the red and the yellow one. I don't think it had a separate number. So I seem to have picked a position at stand where the floorboards are squeaking away. So you've got those hazard stripes and no buffers on the transcontinental versions or the switchers. But apart from that, I think it's the same moulding. So the interesting little addition you could buy, I think a pocket money item as it was called, was the snow plough, which could be just slotted on the front. Actually that coupling is a little bit bent on that one. Let's try it on the red one. It definitely fits on the red one, he says, hopefully. No, I can't get that on there. So just excuse me while I see if I can put that on with 2 hands. There we go. The perils of working with one hand there. So a nice little addition, the snow plough. Very fragile. I imagine many of those got broken. It does just sit on the front of the model there, very precariously, just hooked into the couplings there. Let's just see if I can ease that one off again. We can just have a look on the underside there. So you can see Triang Railway's name in there. Again, we're really struggling with focus. But I think that's probably about it for this week. But thanks again for watching. It really is hugely appreciated. If you look back again next time, we'll try and have something else from the range to look at. Goodbye now.